Chicago. Sure hope you like our show. I'm Elwood. This is my brother Jake.
Well, my temperature's rising and my feet on the floor. Crazy people
Lord have mercy. That ain't no Hank Williams song. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us on a little bit early, actually, but it's all good. This is the main stage music weekly live stream. And
weekly.
You know, this one is before a holiday. A lot of people are going off to maybe have supper in a different town and whatnot. So we thought
maybe have supper.
So we thought, hey, let's just keep this one light and lively and fun and so on. So we've discussed that a cool subject that we've never done before, okay, is there a song whose cover is better than the original song?
Yeah, it started off with like, I was this many days old when I found out that this song was actually written in the 40s, right? There's a lot of these tunes where it's like, oh, I love that song that Taylor Swift did, and it's like, yeah, that was definitely a top 10 hit in 1968 by such and such, and you don't even know that that's the case. So it's so yeah, not only
it's a fun subject, you know?
Yeah, maybe better or not, but just not realizing how much music is repeated that I had no idea was actually
absolutely.
repeats.
And you know, we're all about learning, and we of course love to hear your comments.
We're funded. This is an educational program,
so we are definitely feel free to chime in if you have a favorite cover song or a song that you think the cover is a lot better than the original.
Yeah.
So, because it was Jamie's idea, we're going to start with his list first.
Yeah, these just can't. All of these, is that true? Yeah, I'm going to say it's true because y'all don't know anyway. All of these were songs that I actually did not realize. That's not true, because we clipped one on the list.
Okay.
But I didn't realize that they were done by other people. Well, it is true, maybe not the cover version that we're going to play, but I certainly didn't know that I was not familiar with the original version. I think we've already set up the story, so we can go ahead and listen to the tracks.
So the first track is what?
Oh, I don't know. Which one did you queue up? Oh, Radiohead.
Okay, so this song is called
Kid A.
Kid A by Radiohead. Now this came out in was this the OK Computer album? I think it was. Or no, the album was called Kid A, wasn't it? Oh, whatever. Oh, look at this. We got some picture-in-picture action. I like it.
Nice. The neat thing to listen to on this, I think it is Kid A. Yeah, Kid A. Everything in its right place. Yeah, so when you listen to the cover of this, when I heard the cover, I didn't even recognize all of the things that are going on in this arrangement now until I heard it by the other artist.
Okay. So if you guys, that's enough of the Kid A. So let's hear the cover. Now the cover is by which group?
Punch Brothers.
The Punch Brothers. Now the Punch Brothers, for all y'all who don't know this, is a combination of bluegrass or acoustic style trained musicians.
Yeah, it started off just being he wanted to compose music, but the genre for which he was composing in was fiddle, banjo, acoustic, upright, and mandolin.
And the him is Chris Thiele of Nickel Creek, and
it's morphed into kind of a modern bluegrass band, but it's amazing.
So this is the Punch Brothers version of the Kid A. Yeah, I think these guys only play weddings. Oh, let's get.
Very expensive wedding.
Very expensive.
Yeah, no, like all the delay, all the synth stuff that Radiohead was playing around with in the studio. I mean, they're emulating with like,
Now, how did you
tapping
discover
banjos.
this particular? I mean, I've heard the Punch Brothers. I got to think of the first album.
Well, I mean,
Did you buy the album and just like, dude, this is?
no, I knew. So I saw Nickel Creek before Punch Brothers
Mm-hmm.
in Dallas, and Chris came out on the sidewalk, which was like the thing that he supposedly does. And he stayed there for like another 3 hours just playing crazy covers out on the sidewalk. And it was a crowd about 20, and it whittled down to about 8. But it stayed about 10 of us just standing on the sidewalk till like 2 in the morning singing songs. And he does a ton of Radiohead covers, and Gillian Welch, and a number of other of the American Songbook. But listening to that, actually, I had friends that were big into Radiohead. I didn't get into it as much until I was listening to Chris's versions, because I was doing a lot of acoustic music at the time. So it was interesting to hear somebody take a really wild electric written composition.
Yeah, because that's not
make
the
it acoustic.
Radiohead song that most people would say, oh, you know that Radiohead song. I mean, normally it's like Karma Police or Creep or, but yeah.
Subterranean,
I mean,
Homesick Alien.
that's not the first one that I've heard. So, that's definitely a.
Yeah, it's neat.
I've never
man.
heard that.
Yeah, there's
there
always
you go. That's
there's
awesome.
always stuff out there.
So moving right along, what's the next one on the?
I don't know
list?
which one did we do. I think it's is it Autumn Leaves?
Autumn Leaves.
Yeah. So this one I'm cheating a little bit with.
Now that's a
Yeah,
classic. That's definitely
Yeah.
old American songbook there.
46 lyrics added within a few years. But the nature of our show tonight, I thought was interesting because, it's cool to throw a standard in there, because standards are all covers. I mean, thousands of people have done Autumn Leaves.
Oh yeah.
And, I won't even say that this is a more interesting. It's just interesting to me, the cover version of it. And the first time I was familiar with it, I guess, would have been like, Miles or something from like 20 years later after the song was done. That's how long this thing's been covered by everybody in the, the Blue Note Records. But Julian Lage.
I just like saying that.
He came to Chattanooga,
Julian
man.
Lage.
He came to Chattanooga. I got a signed poster from him. It was amazing.
Where did he play?
Kenny Wollison, the old Revelry Room.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Jazzanooga. Remember when they had that program?
I do remember that.
Man, he came. Kenny freaking Wollison.
Can you believe
on
how many
drums.
awesome acts we get come through Chattanooga?
Punch Brothers, Noam Pickleney, that was playing those Radiohead banjo parts. I saw him at Barking Legs. He was all. It's definitely awesome.
We're definitely blessed to have some amazing stuff come through here. So by the way, we have some comments. One just simply says morgue, which I don't really get. Oh, here we go. I see. And then the next comment is Morgan Wade, Suspicious Minds. I'll have to listen to that one.
Okay, yeah.
Because we all love of course, Elvi.
Yeah, definitely drop some links on there.
And then our friend Craig Daniels is very excited. He goes, hey, look, I'm just in time. Yes, you are.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
So, all right. So then we heard Autumn Leaves. So let's see. Now, who is so Julian Lage? Okay, so here's his version of Autumn Leaves.
We should mention we're having our production team scan the track in about a minute in, because some of them have extended intros.
Exactly.
That dude, man.
That guy is.
He's always smiling when he's playing too. Like he's having the best time.
And I'll tell you, it is not. I mean, we heard the little bit of the melody, but he definitely goes riffing. So he takes liberties with the song, no doubt.
Yeah, incredible liberties. And so I think that was the best one. Gibson found a good one to bring up. But there's another one where he's live in California. They did kind of a live little video shoot, a la Snarky Puppy. And he's playing. He puts Autumn Leaves in that track too, and it's a huge, like 4-minute intro, but I think it's what do you say? He was touched by the Spirit.
Oh, hey man,
when he's playing that one.
Well, man, that guy's got some chops, no doubt.
He was doing that mess when he was like 10. I mean, he's like savant. Like Jacob Collier's nuts. Julian Lodge has got him. Yeah, he just went a different direction, but it's unbelievable.
Well, those are both great, songs. Now I'm curious about the third one. So we've got we went from Radiohead to Autumn Leaves.
Mm-hmm.
So what is number 3?
Sounds
Sounds like the Grateful Dead.
Oh yeah.
So this is not a Grateful Dead tune I'm familiar with.
From the looks of him, who came through many fights, lost love.
If you ever want to piss off a drummer, say, we're going to cover this Dead tune. It's real simple. Well,
So the name of that song was
Lady with a Fan.
Lady with a Fan.
And it was inspired by a hunter, evidently the lyricist for the Dead, is it Robert Hunter, is that right? Wrote a bunch of tunes for him. Like he had this poem that was like Lady from wherever, Sardinia or something or other. And then I guess who maybe Bob and Jerry like restylized it. It's like a buddy of theirs' poem. They took ideas from that and created a new song out of it.
Now that sounded like 80s era Dead, or is that earlier than that?
When that tune.
I don't know. I just was hearing a lot of.
Because I think the first one was 1980, so this was probably 82, 84.
Oh, okay,
maybe.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
Okay, well, it just had that tone. Just hearing that chorusy,
Strange shadows in the flames will grow. Things we've never seen from me.
Okay, so who are we listening to here? This is.
So this is how bad I am at knowing what the hell's going on around me. So that's Hornsby, Bruce Hornsby and the Noise.
Hornsby, okay.
Yeah, I think this was his BET live show that he did that was like historically relevant. Derry Berry is the guitar player. He plays Andersons.
Okay.
And that, see, I didn't even realize. I mean, these are things like I'm just oblivious to life around me. Yeah, Bruce played, with Phil Lesh and all those cats a lot. So I mean, I always look. So first, I get into Bruce through Walt, my keyboard player. He's like big Bruce Hornsby fan, and we're listening to this track. It's like, what we should do? We should do this track acoustic. Not knowing that you go back and listen, there's 1,000 Dead versions of it acoustic. It's like, well, we're not all that original at all. But I didn't know that Bruce's connection to the Dead was so tight. I didn't know it was a Dead tune. I was like, man, that's great. And you.
Well, let me tell you something.
Just being oblivious.
So those are 3 examples that you found that where the cover definitely, spoke to you, was better than
was the first
the original.
I heard the cover before I heard the original.
Okay.
And I don't know. I guess you just get used to what you get used to. But I definitely like.
Well, I'll say that they all challenged. Well, definitely the Punch Brothers and the Julian Lodge challenged me to listen more than the original version did.
Yeah, and I think they all do that. Parts in the cover will illustrate parts in the original that maybe you glazed over. Maybe you heard the hard rhythm guitar and you didn't hear a little noodly mandolin in the background or some crazy key part that when you put it on banjo and there's air and space, all of a sudden you hear that coming through and you're like, oh man, that's a really cool part that wasn't present in the first time you listened to the original too.
Now, for some people that might have been wondering, why did we have the Blues Brothers being played? That's actually our producer.
Clever boy.
Yeah, Clever Boy, Gibson, who said, I thought it was a good thing to put in there because the Blues Brothers is pretty much, they're a cover band. They're playing all cover songs. And I'm like,
thematically speaking, he's right on point.
Yeah, absolutely right. So he thought, of course, that iconic scene of Bob's Country Bunker.
We're the good old Blues Brothers boys band.
Preston Paris has chimed in. He says Atlantic City by the band. Originally on Springsteen's 4-track cassette release, Nebraska.
The band covered a Springsteen tune?
Is that what you're saying, Preston? That
Cool.
The band is the one who covered Springsteen? Well, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, actually, I didn't know that. I've got the Nebraska release, albeit not on 4 cassettes. But anyways. But no, I love, you know, and again, feel free to chime in with whatever, whatever song that...
Cool.
Awesome. Thanks, Preston, for chiming in. Whatever song that you guys like that may be a better version than the original, okay? So I guess it's my turn.
Yeah, man.
Now, I went a different route with this entirely, okay? We had talked about songs that I really like, but, you know, I was thinking, they're not going to know this stuff, and I don't want to...
Oh, forget them, man. They're out there in make-believe land.
I don't forget you.
Yeah, I forget y'all as soon as I leave here. Y'all are pretend to me.
So I wanted to hit some songs that y'all could recognize and know, and so on. And by the way, Eric Fine. That's his real name.
Eric Fine?
I know. He's fine. Eric Fine, you know.
Yeah. He needs to have MF as his middle initials in quotations.
You know, but anyways, he said War, covered by Blackstone Cherry.
Oh, cool.
So is that the War? Whew. Is that the War song you're talking about?
I bet we've got a technician over there that could pull it up at the end of the show if we wanted to.
Yeah, we could probably do that. And Preston had to chime in. It wasn't 4 cassettes. It was recorded on a 4-track Porta Studio.
Nice.
Did they have 4-track Porta Studios back in those days?
Well, he's talking about the band.
Atlantic City covering Nebraska.
Right.
So when did that come out? So this had to have been in the early 80s, late 70s.
Okay.
Were there Porta Studios back then? I don't think so.
Well,
Were they? I mean, I just don't think...
We're going to say
Now I'm going to find out.
I bet you Preston knows.
Eric, thanks for chiming in. Yeah, because I mean, like, some people will argue that Sgt. Pepper's was recorded on a 4-track. Okay. While technically you're right, the 4 tracks were used, there was a lot more to it than whipping out your Fostex XR5 and recording one of the greatest albums that's ever been made. But anyways, research it, because it's an amazing story, actually, the recording of Sgt. Pepper's. I mean, you could cover a whole documentary on that one. Which, by the way, I'm really excited to see that new Get Back documentary.
Yeah.
Correct. So we'll talk about that one, too.
Okay.
Okay, and Preston had to correct us. I guess the Porta Studio was invented in 1982. I will fact check that, and because I'd like to see what it looks like, because I know what a VCR looked like in 1982.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing Porta about it.
Lots of gray and
so
chrome.
I could imagine a tape cassette Porta Studio being wheeled in with like a dolly or something like that.
Did you ever do something stupid like put a toy or a sandwich in a VCR?
Not mine.
Yeah. I always heard people doing that. It's like, that was never an inclination that I had.
So anyways, the songs I went with, I thought we'd just, now again, I might get some hate on these.
Yeah, that's coming.
So the first one is one of the most classic blues songs of all time. Recorded not too far from where you grew up. So deep in the... by Robert Johnson. Okay, amazing blues player, one of the most influential artists of all time.
So Robert, what kind of strings do you use?
Yeah. Those. So this was Crossroads, which of course is a Faustian tale of selling a soul to the devil for a skill.
Well, to Steve Vai.
Okay, yeah. Well, no, he wasn't Ralph Macchio. So, but anyways, so great song, but I can't see college co-eds and a CJ with halter tops blasting that one down on a Friday evening,
No, but I can
drinking
see 'em,
Bartles and James that they stole from their moms.
I can see them standing on a freezing sidewalk with that cat out front on the frat house steps playing that mess, and it
Maybe.
just being steamy out there.
So I thought, well, most people wouldn't even recognize that song immediately. But the cover version, which was recorded by the psychedelic rock supergroup Cream in the mid-1960s, is one that you've likely heard. Eric Clapton, Ginger Baker, and where's my brain? Oh man. So again, this is this is an absolute classic. Everybody knows this song, and honestly, this was the very first version of this song that I'd ever heard.
Right.
And I don't think I'm alone in that. I think that Eric Clapton introduced an entire generation of people to Robert Johnson's music again.
Zeppelin too.
With by making popular covers of their tune. So that one was definitely on the top of my list. And I'm not saying I don't like the Robert Johnson one. I'm just saying that I was more affected by the version that we just heard. So the next one, kind of going along.
And in case we're going to keep count, no hate on that one. So you're 1-0.
Oh yeah, I'm 1-0.
Yeah.
Good. So, so the next one I'm going to do is a song that you might not think is really that big of a deal, but it was recorded by a guy named Red Simpson in 1966. Go ahead and roll.
And the right to arrest. I am the guy who's the boss on this highway. So watch what you're doing when you're driving my way. If you break the law, you'll hear from me. I know I'm working for the state. I'm the highway patrol. Well, you'll know me when you see me, cause my door's painted white with my siren screaming and my flashing red light.
Now that being said, you guys, here is a confession I'm going to make in front of you and the entire interwebs.
Yeah.
I did not know that this song was a cover until last year. I'm embarrassed to say that.
Oh, really?
Because in 1994, yeah, 1994, one of the biggest songs of the year was by Junior Brown, who is a heck of a nice guy, by the way. And his version of
I got a star on my car and one on my chest, a gun on my hip and the right to arrest. I'm the guy who's a boss on this highway. So watch out what you're doing when you're driving my way. If you break the law, you'll hear from me. I know I'm working for the state. I'm the highway patrol.
So, but dude, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, okay. So you might think, oh wait,
Oh, I saw a Git Steal in Nashville last week.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Did you get to play it?
No, I don't know how to
So the
play
Git
that thing.
Steal, for all y'all who don't know what that is the very unique instrument that was designed and built for Junior Brown. It is half Telecaster guitar and then a half lap steel tuned to like a C9 tuning or whatever.
He's got a pedal telly too,
Oh, does
right?
he really? I've never seen that one, but when he was
man,
playing
like
live at
banging that
Barking
thing
Legs
around.
and whatever, I mean, so Junior Brown is a better guitar player than Red Simpson, whoever, there's just more going on with the song, and of course the little steel and even his voice, it has that, the inflection to it. I don't know, I just was more drawn to the song, as were obviously millions of other listeners who all bought the single. And the fact that I never knew that here Red Simpson, I mean, he didn't, obviously, I mean, it wasn't a hit, okay, when Red did it, but it was a hit when Junior Brown did it, and, oh, well, there you go. That's awesome. So, so that being said, that is definitely my, the second one on my list.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hate you for that one either.
Well, I mean,
2-0, man.
Okay, so now the last song on the list that I had is a
I've got my mind set on you. I've got my mind set on you. I've got my mind set on you. I know what I've got to
That is a pretty much an unknown artist, and his name was James Ray. Is that right?
Yes.
James Ray. Now, the cool thing about this is I had to find out about James Ray because I have, it's kind of a bizarre way. Okay, so I have family that lives in the Midwest, and so usually at least once a year I'm driving north to Wisconsin from here in Tennessee. And I travel on Highway 57, which goes from southern Illinois all the way up there. Well, there's this little bitty town called Benton, Illinois. And I noticed that on the side of the highway, literally it's a blink and you miss it town, all right? And so in Benton, Illinois, there is a billboard, a cutout, like a standee billboard, but it's like 25 feet high at least, of George Harrison playing a guitar. And then they have smaller standees of like screaming teenagers and stuff like that. And I'm like,
Wow.
why? Like,
Wow.
what is going on? And
Yeah.
of course, when it's Illinois, I mean, not for nothing, there's not a whole lot to see when you're driving through Illinois, unless you just really like windmills in the north and just flat pasture land. There's really not a whole lot. So I had to do some digging and find out, why do they have just Georgie Harrison, you know, in this 1960s, we're talking like the Nehru suit era Beatles, on the side of the road. And the reason is his sister married a guy who lived in Benton, Illinois. And he, you know, is a sister. So he would visit her, including when he was a Beatle. Now, I mean, Benton, Illinois, there's no way that that town is bigger than, let's say, Dayton. Okay? It's a very small town. And anyways, could you imagine being the biggest star on Earth? Okay? There's no airport in Benton, Illinois. So what did he do? Fly into like O'Hare and drive down 5 hours? Or drive into Nashville? Or fly into Nashville and drive up 5 hours? I mean, literally, it's a geographical oddity. It's 5 hours from everything. And but anyways, in the early 60s, at the height of this Beatles mania, he would go and visit his sister in Benton, Illinois, and, you know, and just kind of, there was a little bitty record shop that he visited, and he would go and he bought some 45s.
So, Effington, Illinois. That took me forever to
Effingham.
No, Effington. The little Ben Folds tune.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
When you were saying some tiny town in Illinois. It's supposed to be quicker. But yeah, Effington's there too.
well,
I got to go to Illinois, man.
Well, it's Effingham. The song is called Effington. But the
I thought there was an actual town, Effington.
No, there's Effingham, and that's why he was making fun of that. There's another song also about a town right off of 57 called Champaign, Illinois, by, it's not the Drive-By Truckers. It might be. Okay, if you guys know, if you listen to Outlaw, you know, whatever, tell me who did Champaign, Illinois. But anyways, these are, what?
5 minutes.
Oh, okay. So that being said, he was in a little bitty record shop in Illinois, Benton, Illinois, and he found this obscure record. And from the Beatles days all the way through, he always had that song in his head. And so in 1987, I think, 86 or 87, he came out with an album, and it featured the now, you know, song that we know.
My mind set on you. I got my mind set on you. I got my mind set on you. I got my mind set on you. But it's gonna take money, a whole lot of spending money. It's gonna take plenty of money to do it right, child. It's gonna take time.
Okay.
Why?
Dude, that song.
Why would you make your snare sound like that?
Dude, he was playing duo jets and hanging out with Bob Dylan and Tom Petty.
No, it's just like, it's got to be one of those things where it's like, hey, we've never made it sound like this before.
Dude,
Hey,
that
check-
song was so awesome. The video was great.
Yeah.
But a lot of people didn't know, myself included when I was young, that was a cover, an obscure cover, and that Illinois is in the story somehow or another.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and by the way, I want to thank
I thought you were talking about Sufjan
Christopher. Well, no, that's another album. Great album. Come on, feel the
Illinois.
Yeah. But he wanted to tell it was the old 97s. See, I knew it was in that vein, but that Champaign, Illinois song was the old 97s.
Thank
Great
you.
song. Yeah, thank you guys. All snares sound bad. Get over it. That's Preston.
Not all snares sound bad.
That's why they're snares. They're traps.
Go listen to
It's a
the
trap.
second time Mayor was on Austin City Limits. So,
Okay.
Really beautiful snare sound.
So that being said, that is our list. 3 and 3.
Yeah, we were limited to 3.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was really wanting to put Natalie Imbruglia's "I'm Torn."
Is that a cover?
Yeah, it was a cover of a Olivia Newton-John song.
Bull. Is it really?
You now know.
No, I mean I don't want to hear it.
It is.
It's like it's interesting to know.
And anyway, so yeah. But there's a lot of great songs on the list, you know, and I'm sure you guys have your opinions and so on and so forth, and we'd love to hear them. So feel free to comment, share, like us on YouTube if you've not already done that.
Or burn your phone.
Yeah, there's another thing. But hey, I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a nice, safe weekend and come on out to Main Stage on Friday. And
Happy Turkey Day.
Yeah, and have a good old time. See you guys. Appreciate you.
Oh, funny.